So chromosomal banding is an very important method. So we will be discussing about this particular aspect today. Chromosomal banding is being done in order to understand and study the chromosomes present in different organisms, and also to make a comparison between different chromosomes in order to identify the chromosome. In order to analyze the structure of the chromosome, people are doing the chromosomal banding. So this analysis of chromosome is being done in both humans, plants and other animals as well. So for identification of chromosome which are going to be differing in morphology, as well as in order to people also using it to identify the chromosomes to distinguish between AT rich region, GC rich region. All these things people are doing with the help of this chromosomal banding. So the history of chromosomal banding starts with 1968 with Kapperson. So first published the paper describing the use of quinacrine mustard to stain the chromosome, and followed by that there are several people actually worked on the chromosomes and came out with understanding of the chromosome. Then in Paris conference in 1971 defined the chromosome bands as a part of chromosome which is clearly distinguishable from its adjacent segment by virtue of its darker or lighter staining ability. The region defined as area of chromosome, the bands are nothing but the regions defined as the area of chromosomes lying between two adjacent bands, the lighter regions, and there will be alternatively darker regions are going to be there. So this chromosomal banding is artificially generated bands, because originally when we see chromosome it will be simply colorless. So in order to visualize it, people go for staining it. When they stain it, it stains in a different ways, and appearance of lighter stain region, darker stain regions are going to be formed. That is the bands. Okay, and these bands are going to appear in different ways when we stain with the different type of dyes. So pattern of chromosome banding is highly specific in each chromosome for a species, thus it is useful tool for identification of chromosomes. Now factors which are going to causes the appearance of bands, mainly the factors which makes the appearance of different types of bands are repetitive DNA, one important factor, followed by that there are difference in base composition of DNA, differences in protein component in the DNA, as well as different in the means component within the protein component in the chromosome, sorry, not in the DNA, and then the differences in the degree of packing, how chromosomes are going to be, the DNA is going to be packed in the chromosomes, whether it is packed very tightly or loosely, whether it is heterochromatic, euchromatic, they are all going to stain in different ways. The karyotype analysis through banding, karyotype is nothing but studying of chromosomes, and people are doing it with the banding. There are three key features used in karyotyping. First, they are going to study about the chromosome size or length, because there are chromosomes which are shorter in size, there are chromosomes which are lengthier, and as well as in chromosomes, as we know there are going to be two arms, there will be a P arm, Q arm, so which is the lengthier, which is shorter, so the size variations within these arms. So all these are being studied in the karyotypic analysis. Then we come across with banding pattern, the size and location of bands within the chromosome. It makes a very unique, it is going to be very much unique for each of the chromosomes. And then centromeric positions, the centromeric positions which is going to be there in the chromosome, in many chromosomes, like some are going to have it central, some are going to have it apical. So there are different ways the centromeric regions are going to be present. So that can also be studied by through the banding process. So nomenclature of bands, how people are going to name these bands. So bands are going to be named by following the nomenclature based on the Paris Conference of 1971, where and also International System of Human Cytogenetics. So they have made a set of rule in binding of the chromosomes, or sorry, naming of the bands in the chromosomes. So the name is going to start with, like, whenever we want to name, first we have to consider the arm symbol, followed by the region in which it is present, then followed by the band number within that particular region, then what is that chromosome number, then the genome designation, that is from which particular organism that particular the chromosome is from. So the genome designation, all are going to be mentioned whenever we go for naming a particular means whenever we name the chromosomal band. So as per the international this system of human and cytogenetics, so people actually gave the nomenclature, as I told you, that's a mainly we have to follow. So each area of chromosome was given a number. So you can see how the chromosome is, means area of the chromosome is being given number. So the one nearest to the centromere is named as 1 on the P as well as Q, or the longer as well as smaller one. Then followed by that the second it is 2. If it is very lengthy, even 3 is also given. So lowest number closest centromere, it's always, and highest number to the tip of a centromere. So you can see that how it is going to be given, and nomenclature like whether it is peptic arm or whether it is the Q arm. So peptic arm, the P arm is shorter and Q arm is a longer one, and bands numbering proceeds, like for example you can see band P11, sorry, band P11 or band P23 means P11 means in P band, in the chromosome it is P1 region and 1 band, like that. So band and the region number, so generally it's going to be lowest number is given to the one nearest to the centromere already, as I told you, and highest to the distal one, and chromosome bands are given the number 1 to 9, and if the number exceeds then 10 chromatids divided into, again they are going to further divide into 2 parts, again number is going to be done serially. So like P11, Q23, like that. So karyotyping, there are different type of banding techniques are available based on different type of stains which are being used. Q banding, G banding, R banding, C banding, N banding, like that. Q banding uses quinacrine mustard, G banding uses gemcitabine, R banding is called reverse banding, C banding is centromeric banding, it's also called as heterochromatic banding. Then N banding is a nuclear organizer region banding. So we'll see this banding how it is done. So in the banding, people actually give 3-letter code to designate what type of banding it is. So they are going to use the first letter, that is type of banding, second letter for general technique which is used in banding, and third for the stain which is being used in the banding. For example, QFM. QFM stands for Q banding by fluorescence using quinacrine dye. Okay, so that is a Q banding. So this is going to give an identification of that particular technique. So there are other general types of banding like constant heterochromatic bands visible during the interphase. We can make it easily throughout the cell division, and these bands are going to be associated with a highly repetitive DNA in the heterochromatic region, and even they are going to be equivalent to C or G11 or even N banding. So there are facultative bands which are going to be seen, which are not distinguishable during the interphase via varying in size. So at metaphase they occupy the whole chromosome, and fusion of bands as a result of the chromosome contraction, and these particular banding are equivalent to the G banding or Q banding or R banding. And kinetochore, these are the parts of the dots present in the centromeric region, which is defined in the CD band. Then if we start with the banding, Q banding is done by using quinacridine mustard, which is a fluorescent alkylating agent, was first used by Kapustin in 1968 during his studies, quinacridine dihydrochloride. So when quinacridine intercalates the DNA molecule and it quenches for more fluorescence at AT rich region. The fluorescence of quinacridine indications of AT richness of DNA. Then we come across with G banding. G banding is the banding done by using Gemsa stain, which was again used by Drett and Sharp Patil et al. In 1970 when they were studying independently about the animal species. G banding defined as chromosomal staining technique, which is give a darker and lighter bands along with the euchromatic part of the chromosomes, stain dark at AT rich region and light at the GC rich region. You can see how it appears when G banding is done. Then we come across with R banding, which is called as the reverse banding. So it is developed by Detrelux and Lejeune 1971. Launay, so people say. So then mild denaturation of by heat and subsequent staining with the Giemsa revealed the banding pattern, which is reverse to the G banding. Means generally in G banding we do it as such by taking the cells, but here in the reverse what they did is before going for adding the stain, they subject that particular chromosomes for mild denaturation and then this time, which gives exactly reverse of the Giemsa G banding. So that's what called as R banding or reverse banding. So where while denaturation with the fluorochrome dye, that is actinium orange or olivomycin, produces the fluorescent R banding, the reverse to the Q band. Not G band, reverse to the Q band, because here fluorescent dyes are being used. And R bands, fluorescent bright regions, bright green, and non-R bands are going to give faint red region. R banding accomplishes by heat treatment mainly for 10 to 5 to 10 minutes, and here AT rich DNA denatures and reduces the affinity with the Giemsa. Then we come across with another kind of banding, that is C banding. That is Purdue and Gall, they did it independently in 1970. So C banding mainly it is about the staining of constitutive heterochromatin in case of moss, they did it. So here C banding located next to the centromeric region, that's why it's called as C banding, and mainly in many species like Drosophila, guinea pig, people have done it. And C band located next to the centromere and secondary constrictions of chromosomes like 1, 9 and 16 in case of man, people have found the C banding. So differential staining involves heat alkali acids treatment to denature the cellular DNA molecule based on the principle of renaturation kinetics, and the denaturated repetitive DNA of heterochromatin denatures under the prescribed condition faster than unique DNA such as is for differential staining. So this is the variants in case of C banding. We have CT and CD banding. CT is centromeric telomeric banding and CD is centromeric dot bands, which is used in kinetochore studies. So here in case of CT band, we come across that bands are located near the telomeric region. Here bands are going to be present on the dots. So both are used, means CT is done in humans, animals and plants, and whereas CD in case of humans. So how people actually do C banding? The pre-treatment of the roots is going to be there. Means we're talking about the banding in case of onion roots, root tip cells. So they pre-treat the roots for 24 hours in colchicine to arrest the cell cycle. Then followed by fixation is done by using ethanol 99 and acetic acid in 3:1 ratio at room temperature, followed by acetic acid 45% treatment will be there for 2 to 3 minutes to squash down the slides, and then ethanol 99% treatment to just fix it, and then they go for staining. So they incubate in 0.2 molar HCl for 60 degree for 2 minutes, then wash it, followed by saturation, saturated barium hydroxide solution, 7 minutes at room temperature. Then they'll be doing with the SSC buffer, that is sodium chloride and trisodium citrate buffer for 60 minutes, then staining for with 1 to 5% Giemsa stain. So that gives us the then followed by xylene, and we are going to mount it. So that is C banding. There is modified method is also there. What is the application? So application wise, the banding is highly the banding is C banding is highly valuable for identification of heterochromatic region and of chromosomes in case of plants and as well as animals. High repetitive for identifying the mitotic chromosome in case of mammals, and identification of aneuploids, translocations and other structural rearrangements. Useful for precise physical mapping, phylogenetic conclusions of interspecific and intergeneric hybrids, etc. Then people are also using the C banding, okay, like identification of monozomics in case of what is being done by C banding. So like this. So this is all. Thank you. So in case of any doubts, please do feel free to contact.